Sputnik Monroe then. So was he retired by the time you got to Nashville, Memphis area?
Well, he was retired, but the stories about him weren't. So this is the story about Sputnik. He was making an appearance at the Mid South uh, Fair, which they have county fairs, they have state fairs. This was the state fair. It's a bigger one, and he was making a an appearance there, and some guy walked in with a horse, and Sputnik said something about the horse, and the guy said, "No, I don't even talk to my horse like that." And then he hauled off. I think he kind of slapped the horse a little bit. He didn't slap the guy, he slapped the horse. And of course, the horse jumped around. It made the cowboy so mad. The cowboy beat the shit out of him and left him laying. So, and then, of course, word spread this cowboy beat Sputnik Monroe's ass over there in the agricultural building or whatever. And they tried, and that story spread all over Memphis and all over the counties around Memphis. And Sputnik went on TV and said the story got out of hand, but he challenged the guy to meet him at Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum and see who the tough man was. And the guy refused to show up. He said, no, no, no. You guys baited me into this. Because when he hit him, he knocked him down, and he thought that was much too easy. So he said, you guys baited me, wanted me to come down and so he could kick my ass. I'm not coming down there. But anyway, that was a story. But he really got shit knocked out of him.
Do you know? I thought
and he was always like half-ass drunk, and he had a voice like this, and oh man, he would just make you mad just listening to him talk. But he was crazy. But in Memphis, there's a story about him. Everybody hated him except the black fans. They loved him for some reason because they made him. This is back in the segregation days. They made them all sit upstairs in the $2 tickets, $2 seats, and of course that slowly went away. But they loved him because he was the one all the other white people were booing. So, and they were booing him, but the black people were cheering him. So, and they liked him more than anything else because I think he made a statement one time. He said, "I am not going to ever wrestle in Memphis again until you open up the floor seating for the black people too." Of course, they all heard about this. It was in the paper and everything, and they loved him for that because he kind of stood up for them because you can't make them sit upstairs like some second-class citizen. And so when they opened up the floor seating so blacks could sit down there, he cemented his legacy with all the black people in Memphis because they literally loved Sputnik Monroe.
I believe he was even like arrested at the time for, hanging around like black areas or black population areas.
Well, he did go into I heard this, he went into a restaurant. He was in there drinking, and they came in there, and they asked him why he was there. He said, because the goddamn wannabe, that's why. And he was smarted ass to the cop, and they arrested him. They took him in. Nothing happened about it. But, of course, that story spread like wildfire, too, because he stood up to the cops. So, and what year did Sputnik Monroe die?
I don't know. Was his heyday in the 50s or 60s? I'll look that up.
Mostly in the late 50s and 60s. Of course, he had that blonde hair, that stripe going back. And
he died in 2006.
Wow.
At the age of 77 in Florida. He was born in Dodge City, Kansas.
Yep. I thought he had died back in the 80s. But he died in 2000 what?
6.
6. Anyway, good guy. I only met him a couple of times, but he was everything they said he was.
He actually retired in 1988. So he was working somewhere.
And the black people in Memphis, they actually attribute what he did to the normalization of race relations in Memphis.
Mhm.
They give him credit for that. So good for him.
So I think he was working. I mean, see, I'm just looking at his matches here. Working fairly regularly until 1975. Had a few matches, a couple of matches in 1980, and then he had one match in 1988 in Memphis, the Mid-South Coliseum, against Billy Wicks.
And Billy Wicks was another legend in Memphis.
There you go. Right,
Big time legend.